Right, guys, welcome to the next episode of Tiger Heart Chats. I'm so happy to hear that you guys are still listening to us. When we started the podcast, we didn't know who was going to be listening, but we're getting so much positive feedback. Yesterday, I got an email from someone that told me that this podcast has changed their life. So that's amazing. I've got a fantastic guest for you today, someone who I've known for a long time. He's someone that I have so much respect for. He's been working within the hip hop sector within London for a long time. Please welcome Ara.
Wow, that was really good.
How are you, buddy?
I'm really good, considering. I'm really good. How are you?
I'm all good, man. I'm all good. I mean, we're all on lockdown, and there's some crazy things happening around us, but the sun is shining, and, you know, I'm feeling blessed because I've got people like you in my life. There's lots of people listening who want to know about you. So tell us, you know, about where you're from and what you're up to.
Okay, my name's Ara. I am born and bred in London. Lived in London my whole life, and I started off in advertising around 2000, and then started an event called the Jump Off. Was responsible for a lot of talent breaking through in this country, like Professor Green and eventually people like Maya Jama and Charlie Sloth. And now I run more of like a creative agency with my brother, who we started Jump Off together. Now we run a creative agency called So Incredible, where we work with brands and basically kind of marry creative and great talent. Do a lot of brand deals and manage YouTube channels, just trying to do what we did with the Jump Off event for different talent now, and that I think is just create impact through creative.
Awesome. So just with regards to your background, you mentioned that you know, born and raised in London. Whereabouts in London did you grow up?
Oh, well, Wembley.
Wembley, so West London.
Wembley. Yep, Wembley, West London, Preston Road. I doubt many people who are not from that area will even know what that is.
I know Preston Road very well. Good part of town, good food.
Metline.
And then because now you live kind of near King's Cross, is that right?
No, our office was in King's Cross, and we have an office with Charlie Sloth, which is a studio in Tile Yard, and mainly because it's right next to Apple Studios, which is where he is now.
Right.
He's moved from BBC to Apple Music. So it was convenient, but really we work remotely. We're kind of like desk hoppers, you know, and we have different kind of preferences. My brother likes WeWork a lot. I'm a member of a hospital club.
Oh, sweet.
H Club.
Yeah.
Now.
I love hospital club.
Yeah, so I do maybe a couple of days a week there, maybe a day in the office. And now, obviously, I'm talking pre-lockdown.
Yeah.
Post-lockdown, I think we may well change, but, you know, I'll do an occasional day in Costa.
Just with regards to like your advertising background, so you come from West London. Which agency did you start off at?
So I did about 2 years of trials, which is basically doing the work but not getting paid, or not getting paid properly.
Right.
And I did, I did BBH. I was at McCann's.
Wow.
For 6 months. I was at DDB, London, and I was at Gray's, is the only place I had a job, and that was in Beirut though.
Wow.
So yeah, I was in Beirut in the Lebanon Gray's until the war kicked off in 2003, and then I was sent home as a British national. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. There was a suicide bomber in the McDonald's the day I left.
Oh my God.
And it was like a movie. I had to kind of rush around to get help to get my money out of the bank, because I was leaving. I was getting forced out, but my money's in the bank saying I don't know what's going to happen. And I was ready to move into an apartment with a swimming pool and get a car. I was settling in, and then they're like, "Yo, you got to leave." But that's when Jump Off started.
So like early noughties.
Well, that was 2003. Mid 2003.
Okay, and so talk to us about Jump Off. Jump Off as a band, from me anyway, from my experience, very kind of forward-thinking hip-hop community with their ear to the ground. Tell us about the Jump Off.
So the Jump Off was our way to get into a culture and the music we loved at the time. So we had been to a few events, and so when I say we, it's me and my brother, Harry. And we'd been to some events, and we had a great passion for the music. He was working in IT at the time and wanted to get out and do something in the music industry, and I was happy to play along with that. Basically, most of the events had like just guys, mainly guys in them, mainly in the kind of hostile. I mean, that's unfair to say hostile, but you would occasionally, because there's a lot of men in there and it's playing hip hop. We'd been to one rap battle event, and we basically, and this is while I was in Egypt, as part of the getting out of Beirut. They sent me to Egypt.
Right.
So during that period, Harry had said to me, I want to start an event. So I helped him just doing the design work for it. And we started an event that was just playing live music. And then off the back of that, I had come back home. We were talking about him leaving that event and us starting something together. And we wanted to do something based off of, the music, but also rap battling.
Mm.
So we started this event called the Jump Off, which was basically just 5 live acts and a rap battle, but we kind of grew it as we went. So the first event was like 50 people came to it, and then it just grew and grew and grew. And as it grew, we added different elements to it, and we tried to kind of look back at every event we done, and we used to do clubs before that. We tried to get into nightclubs and be nightclub promoters, like when we were kind of closer to our like 18 and early 20s, and those things all failed. Like as nightclubs, 100 people in a nightclub's rubbish. But we kind of took what we had learned from that, and we took what we had learned from the other event he had done, and we started doing this event where we added a breakdance battle.
Wow.
We added a producer battle, so guys who had to make a beat live on stage. It started to gain traction. We brought in 3 judges every time, so it was like celebrity judges, and they were, relatively celebrities based on like the industry. So we'd get A&Rs down, and we'd get people who we could network with. So we didn't really know what we were doing, but we kind of felt we were going in a direction we wanted to go in.
Mm.
And then it just started to grow and grow, and it became uncontrollable. And when we started, a lot of people were saying to us who we were close to in the hip hop industry were, you're crazy, that'll never work here. There's not enough people who like, into hip hop in this country. And it just spawned into something big over like the space of 2 years. I think it grew into like being 500 people in an event.
Wow.
It was like the go-to spot. By then we had added crew dance battles. In that 2 years is when smoking was banned as well. So the club atmosphere changed a lot. And I think we got a big reputation for having kind of as many girls in an event as guys. And it was something that just happened so fast. You just looking back at it now is the only time I've really appreciated what we done.
Yeah, when you're in it, you kind of your mind is looking at a different goal, but yet you're scoring goals around you, and it's not until you reflect that you're like, wow, that was cool.
It's actually taken me years to realize how cool it was, and I'm talking about only in the last couple of years, because more and more people I meet who tell me, wow, like your events really were a big deal to me, and looking at the lives we changed through the events, and being told by people like Wiley and Professor Green and other industry people that we're responsible for this scene, this urban music growth. There was really only us, One Extra and Rewind magazine at the time were the kind of pillars, right, of hip hop at that time. And again, I didn't really think much of it until recently, where just everyone I meet is like, wow, you got to bring it back. Like that was the biggest thing that, I used to watch the videos, and that's a whole other, I don't know how much time you got, but the whole kind of the way the videos became such a crucial part of it, and how we, manipulated that was a very big part part of the story.
With regards to the jump off then, when did you say goodbye to that brand?
We tried to say goodbye. Oh God, we tried to say goodbye a few times. So from 2003 till the end of 2005, we did it every week to start with, and then it was too much because I was working at DDB at the time, and I couldn't. I felt I'd been there for 3 months, and I felt like I was going to mess up my partner's opportunity to get the job. And we they loved us there. And I used to come in on Tuesday because it was Mondays, and I used to come in every Tuesday at like 10, 11 o'clock because I'd been up till 4 the night before doing this event. And you're talking about packing down as well. And by the time you pack down and get home, you get a bag and a few hours sleep before you're back out, and half asleep in advertising. As a creative, you can get away with it. I felt bad, so I eventually left that, thinking we were onto a big thing here. But for literally 2 years, we were every other week. I think we did about 82 events before we decided the internet was phenomenal and we were kind of too local. Wanted to do other things. We didn't want to be branded as just a rap battle. So,
I got you. And also 2005, that's kind of just before Google bought YouTube. Now we're kind of sidestepping into where the Jump Off as a brand started to grow. So talk to us about that movement from being an event-based brand into the digital hip-hop revolution that you became.
I think probably 2004, end of 2004, and my memory's not the greatest, but around the end of 2004, we started to realize that we weren't an events brand. We were a production brand. So we were a production company. It was more about what we were filming, and mainly because you'd get 200, 300, 400 people coming to an event, and it was great, and the atmosphere was great. But we were paying £800 a month. I remember very, very well. We were paying £800 a month for bandwidth on our website because of the amount of videos that were being downloaded. And I'm talking about lower res back then, obviously. Windows Media Video files. We used to provide it in 3 formats. So it was Windows Media Video, Real Player, or QuickTime. And we used to put up all the kind of video clips from the events on the website. We used to get charged £800 a month, and I did a lot of research into trying to find a cheaper way because that cost us a lot of money back then. So when something like YouTube came around, and before YouTube, we were on Bright Cove. So I don't know if anyone would even remember Bright Cove. They were more B2B, but they did try to go commercial kind of route, and we were early adopters of that, and they were paying. That's the reason we went with them. So we used to put our content on Bright Cove. That's around 2006, I'd say.
Okay.
It was a relief to get out of paying £800 a month, where we could put our content somewhere for not just free, but now start monetizing it.
Yeah.
So we were even at the point where we couldn't deal with that £800, and we were trying to get it down. So we would seed content into things like Kazaa. And Emule, but we would name it. We would use it as marketing as well. So we would name it like Jay-Z's. We were the worst at kind of like clickbait. Back then, that was clickbait. You'd rename a file Jay-Z's latest music video title, and really it's a rap battle.
and what did that do for you? That kind of clickbait.
We didn't know. I mean, I don't know if we ever found out what it did for us, but we just knew we wanted to kind of try things, and it was an exciting time because so much was happening in terms of new technologies and stuff. And Emule and Kazaa, we used to use those as well, peer-to-peer download. I don't know if they still kind of have things like that now. Probably more Torrents is the closest thing.
Yeah.
To it. But we were just excited that we could get what we were doing out. So we thought it was our responsibility to market what we did. So if it was a great rap battle, if it was a great crew dance battle video, we would push those things out through Kazaa. We never kind of monitored it. We didn't know what it did. I guess we knew we were doing a lot of downloads, and we were finding new audiences, and that's really what it became about. For us, it was this amazing internet thing where video is really growing at an incredible rate, and we've got regular new content to put out there.
That's amazing. That's when you know you've hit your apex, when there's a thirsty audience and you've got the product to give it to them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and we had a cycle. We had back then was every 2 weeks we had an event. But I think by the end of 2005 is when we were like, we want to do more. We want to, because I think it was a creative thing. Like we'd hit a ceiling of creativity. You couldn't start making up stuff and getting real corny. Like we'd have an occasional kind of eating battle or a pillow fight, something more fun. But I think I started getting starved of creativity. So we were looking at other things, and we started doing like a weekly news. It's called the Friday Hip Hop Report, as a video. And my brother moved in 2006. He moved out to New York. He ended up being there for 6 years. And the whole objective of that was to make content and be in the heart of the kind of hip hop world. So we had a lot of good contacts. We did a great format called The Next 48 Hours. Where we'd follow around a rapper on the day of their release. So it'd be the day before, the day of, and the day after.
Wow.
And that was a great format. We did it with Jada Kiss, Meth and Redman, Rick Ross, Nas. There's a lot of... Professor Green was probably the only English one we did.
Wow.
And that's something we pushed out to our platform, and I think there was budgets provided for it as well by the label. So that was exciting. That was stuff we wanted to test different formats. We had kind of got bogged down in a space that we absolutely loved, but couldn't see what the next stage was, and it was exhausting because there was no summer break for us. We had committed to every 2 weeks, and it didn't get quiet back then. It did. So you're talking about you do an event every 2 weeks. You can't. We didn't have like a format like a football season where they get a summer off.
Yeah. We
did every 2 weeks. So if it was snowing, if it was really sunny and the weather was great, and people would still come. And I think it just we got a bit exhausted by not having time to stop and look what else can we do with what we've built here. I can't remember what the question was.
Well, the question was, when did you hang up the off shoes, Okay,
so to answer that, we still haven't. I think we still haven't.
Okay.
But we've done one-offs, and we tried to go monthly, and mainly because the guy at MySpace, Andrew Davis, who I'm now good friends with, in 2007, I think he got in touch with us and said, "What happened? I used to be a big fan of that jump off. Would you bring it back?" And we said, "I mean, if you're going to promote it," so we did a deal. We did a deal with them, and we brought it back monthly for a bit, and we got Kiss FM on board as well.
That's awesome.
Back then, Clara Ampho was on the street team.
Wow. Yeah, I know Clara very well.
Now she's a big-time DJ.
Radio 1 DJ. We'll touch on the MySpace deal in a second. Let's talk about YouTube and Google. When I was doing the holographic stuff that I was doing, you introduced me to a couple of people from Google. How did that relationship appear?
Who did I introduce you to?
Well, I remember it was when Google were launching a Chromebook, and this was back in 2013, I think, or 2012. And you brought a group of...
Yes, we did our debates. We did something on you had a 2-pack hologram or something.
Yeah.
Or 2-pack hologram had happened, and we got in touch with you, and you let us come down and show us the technology and have our little crew debate it there. Yeah, I remember that. How
did that kind of start and grow?
If you're talking about just YouTube in general, well, we obviously made the transition from Bright Cove to YouTube in 2006, I think it was.
Right.
When we had a format called the World Rap Championships, where in that year we were in 2 cities, but the following year we were in 8 cities, five in America, Australia, 1 in Australia, 1 here, and 1 in Canada. So we had gone to 8 cities to create this rap battle format of 2-on-2, which again was like groundbreaking, and still can't believe we pulled it off. But Harry had sold his house. We used the money from that to kind of fund it. No one's giving you a business loan for a rap battle format. Definitely not then. And at that time, we were putting promotion clips on YouTube because, we wanted to get an audience to come to Bright Cove. I think that's when we realized that you can't force an audience. You cannot force an audience to sit on the platform you want them on. You have to go to the platform that they are on. We were doing more videos for our promo videos on YouTube than we were on Bright Cove. And although we were monetizing Bright Cove, it just wasn't anywhere near. So we started to shift to putting our content on YouTube in 2007. And then when YouTube made it, started bringing in partners and paying people, that's when we were like, okay, let's go all in. Like, YouTube's where we want to kind of build our platforms of content, and it's where Next 48 Hours lived. It's where the jump off content, even though we started doing monthlies and other little formats we were doing, Friday Hip Hop Report, they were all on YouTube. And I think we just kind of got to learn and know and understand YouTube, and I guess eventually you just become as you become successful on a platform, they obviously want to kind of bring you in and speak to you, and you get a channel manager. So I can't remember who I introduced you to, but we would have had a channel manager back then.
Okay.
And they just kind of help you with directing your content, and feedback and any questions you have, and they just kind of ease the path.
Yeah, and they also invest in you a little bit, don't they? They have like studios and equipment that you can.
They do now. They do now, and it's phenomenal, and it gets really rinsed by a lot of people. Hard to book, but they got a space in King's Cross, and they got ones all over like LA and stuff. And we'll work there as well. Like one day a week, we'll try and work from there. Because I have a little cafe. But they got great facilities, and you can go there. They've got technician support where you need help setting up a camera. What they won't do is they won't press record. They'll set up the camera, they'll do everything you need to do, but they won't be held accountable, I think, for it not recording or something. So they are not allowed to press record.
Yeah.
Other than that, they'll help you set up. So yeah, I think YouTube's phenomenal in terms of how much they kind of give back and support creators.
Absolutely. I mean, I was blown away. So I do a little bit of creative mentorship for some of the YouTubers in King's Cross, and just their office is brilliant. It reminds me of the record industry before the digital revolution. Like
good one.
There's lots of investment in nurturing creativity, which is important, because a lot of people don't have that. They don't have a place to kind of create things. So it's good that they're doing that. Obviously, we know why they're doing it, because the better the content, more people are watching that content. Mm-hmm. The more advertisers they can get in to spend money with them. But it's a brilliant ecosystem.
Yeah. I think they take a cut of the money, and rightfully so. They provide the platform, and it's obviously working for them as well.
And obviously they're getting all that data as well. They know what you're watching, what you're listening to, and how you're behaving, which is something that government should have done 20 years ago. So talk to me about YouTube now. So you were kind of like a YouTube advocate when I first met you. What's your relationship with them now like?
I have a good channel manager. I have a few channels that I work with, like Yanimize and Charlie Sloth. Yanimize is a car customizing channel. He's also had a TV show. They basically wrap cars. They do a lot of high-end vehicles. I mean, there'll never be a day. They're in Enfield, and I'll go and work from there occasionally as well, probably one or 2 days a week.
Right.
And there'll never be less than like 2 Lamborghinis there at once. Just it's Lamborghinis, Ferrari, Porsche, Mercedes, just like a lot of high-end vehicles with the celebrity clients.
That's cool. And what's the kind of premise of that? What's the story?
In what sense? My story or just their story? Because my story is I went to school with the guy who runs it. We went to nursery together, and we've always been good friends. And I suggested YouTube to him ages ago, and I was the one who put him onto Instagram as well. And he's flourishing in both of those. So I think when Jump Off started to kind of die down, and I had 2 kids at this point, and I'm thinking I can't, because Jump Off didn't make us money. We burnt a lot of money doing Jump Off, and it was a passion. And I think when you have kids, you realize that they can't eat passion, unless it's passion fruit, obviously. But that's my stuff. So I kind of had to make a move, and I sat down with Yanni at Yanni Myers, and we had a chat, and I said, look, I think I can help you guys. Because all they were doing back then really was rap videos. So a car would come in, it would change color, and that's great. Since I've been there, we started doing more kind of creative stuff and more format-based stuff. We did this thing called the Rap Job, which had a few sponsors on board, and it was like an apprentice version, but to find a car rapper, put up prize money and stuff. That did really well. That did like about 5 million views across 13 episodes, I think, on YouTube. We did the finals at BMW Park Lane as a little event, live streamed. We've done something called the Million Subs Rap. So when he got to 1 million subs, or to get him to 1 million subs, we needed an idea. So came up with this idea to wrap his Lamborghini. Normally he would just change the color, and we're like, wow, he's wrapped his car chrome rose gold. Wow, that's amazing. But that wasn't amazing to me, because I don't really have a passion for cars. I have a passion for creativity. Yeah. And came up with this idea to get all of his subscribers to get their profile pictures printed out digitally as like a giant grid, and wrap his car in that. Yeah, we did that, and in a few weeks he had, got the 50,000, 60,000 subs he needed to get over 1 million, and that was a great idea, and that did really well. And the videos are still online, and the whole process we documented. We've done this, so we've done this thing called Rap Attack, where they rap, games consoles or helmets or vapes, so other things besides from cars, using his same stuff, and that created a kind of different audience as well. Yeah. So it was just kind of trying to evolve what he did, and now he's sitting on 1.5 million subs. Wow. And it's a big part of his business. I think he realizes now that there's a lot more potential in the creative content side of things, as opposed to just what it was before. Was similar to what Jump Off was with us in terms of content. It was just documenting what we did. It was just documenting what we did, until we realized this is more than just documenting what you do. This is actually what you do. And you need to kind of push for more creative content ideas, is kind of the road we went down. So I've got that relationship, and that is, I've been working with him for 3 years now, I think just over 3 years, and that's solid. And we're working on a whole lot of other new things, and we've got a channel manager for him, but that channel manager we just work with across all of our channels on YouTube. So Charlie Sloth, and then other little ones that we've got younger talent that we're trying to develop and help grow as well. Occasionally you'll get other cool brands or maybe not so cool brands that want to pay you to help them with their YouTube, and we'll try and juggle that as well. Amazing. Talk to us about MySpace. That felt like a word that's just been gathering dust for the last 15 years. So you have a relationship with them, or you still have a relationship? No, we did, but we did it when it was popping. It is gathering dust, and I'm not saying I wouldn't, but there's no one talks about it now. It's died, and I think their biggest mistake was not sharing the revenue. Yeah. And they would have had a completely different outlook, I think, if they'd shared that revenue. They were getting revenue from putting ads up. And it's funny because the guys at MySpace would always try and deny Facebook, and they'll go like, yeah, Facebook's a fad, it will go away. But kind of didn't. No, absolutely. I mean, there was you could see the shift of human behavior and what it was thirsty for on MySpace, but it didn't feel like they grasped that. Well, you had to learn HTML. You had to learn HTML to make your page look good, and it just it couldn't shift quick enough, I think. So it was a number of things, but anyway, we were with them. We were with them when they were popping. 2007, it was good. Yeah, 2007. Things were going good for MySpace. And it still exists, doesn't it, as a brand? I couldn't tell you. It wouldn't come up in my search history. Not on this laptop. Because I still hear people talk. I mean, I've had just from people that I work with in the industry come to me like, Sanj, I'm going to introduce you to this guy from MySpace, and they're going to be big again. And it's like, I've heard that over the last, I don't know, sort of 5 or 6 years. Every couple of years someone will say that to me, and I just know it's not going to grow, because
They just don't understand.
It's a joke now. Yeah, but I think a lot of people see it as a joke, and it's very hard. You're better off starting a new brand.
Yeah.
It's tainted. It's just a part of a lot of jokes. I think it's just what happens, though, isn't it? It's just the same. You can probably target a ton of brands that's happened to. But
absolutely.
It's just things evolve and things change, and you have to shift with it. It's the same in any industry, man. Like in music, you can be on top, you can be the best artist, but if you're not moving with the times, if you're not developing your craft, if you're not reacting to people, you're going to end up MySpace. So
talk to us about Charlie. So you mentioned that Charlie was at the BBC and now he's at Apple. How long have we been working with Charlie for?
I mean, do you want the whole story?
Yeah, the whole story.
Right. This is a great story. So there's a guy called Benny Scars who was on our street team at Jump Off in early 2004, I'd say. End of 2004, the whole of 2005, some of 2006. He was our street team guy. He would go out to the clubs and flyer. He would be a talent on some of the stuff we did as well. Young kid, really enthusiastic, great guy. He now manages Dave, the rapper. He's doing incredibly well, manages a few producers as well. Great guy. Back then he was on the street team, and he came to me one day and said, I've got a guy met a guy who wants to join the team. I was like, well, just deal with it. Because I say to him, I don't want to, you deal with the street team. That's what you do. Like, get together any kind of young guys who want to get involved in handing out flyers and be part of the movement. And you do. He goes, no, I think you should meet this guy. I said, all right, cool. I'll meet with him. Met him in the McDonald's. Didn't bring him to the office. Didn't know much about him. Met with him. Got on really well with him. His name was Charlie. Went by the rap name Sloth. And decided that he really wanted to just get into the music industry, and he could edit. He could do video editing. So we brought him in as a video editor. Then he played us some music, and we were like, oh my God, this kid's incredible. Gave him an idea for a song. He went away and wrote it overnight and brought it and played it to us. And we're like, okay, look, you're fired. You can't edit for us anymore. We're gonna manage you. You're a rapper. Like, you are gonna be a huge artist. And he was like, all right, cool, but can I still kind of freelance edit? Because he still needed the money, right? So he's still doing a bit of freelance work for us. And we're giving him ideas, and he's just reactive. He's so reactive. He was an incredible talent to work with. We sat together. I tried to convince him to do, back then everyone was doing like blogs. Like, so Wretch would have a blog, Tiny Temper would have a blog, Sway would have a blog. So these are rappers who are kind of bubbling and coming up really strong in the music game. And I would try and convince him. He goes, I'm not doing a blog. Why am I going to post videos about other people? I'm trying to be a rapper. So we got to do something. Like, we need to do something to penetrate, like, past what we're doing now, just making songs and not having DJs respond to us. You're sending them to people and no one's listening to them.
Yep.
So we came up with this idea to do a format called Being Charlie Sloth, where he would play all the characters, because that's how he was. He was trying to manage himself. He did his own creative. He did his own producing, his own beats. He wrote his own raps. He rapped his own raps. He tried to manage himself. He was all these. He did his own website. He was a master of crafts. Like, he really kind of wanted to learn, put every minute into bettering himself.
Yep.
So we did this format and we started doing it, and it was the first episode. He kind of came the next day after the idea was done again. It just showed me how eager he was, and he came to the office and he was like, I want to show you it. I said, show me what? He said, the idea we were talking about last night. So, what, you shot it already? He goes, yeah, let me just show you. So he came into the office, he played me it, and it was rubbish. But it was absolutely rubbish. But the idea just gave us goosebumps, and it was like, there's something here. Like, what do you need? Like, let's help you do it. Like, whatever you need. I gave him some of my clothes so that he could have the different characters dressed differently. So the producer would look different to the rapper, for example. The rapper, he could dress himself, obviously, but the editor, so he done his own video editing as well. He directed his own videos. He shot his own videos. He used to just set a camera up and perform in front of them. So we facilitated it all, and then it blew up. it was doing 1 million views a week on World Star Hip Hop. They wanted the exclusive for 24 hours on it. So before we could put it on YouTube, they wanted it for 24 hours every Monday. So we have to deliver it Sunday night. I would go and work from his shed with him until like 3-4 in the morning to make sure every week we could deliver this piece of content, because we now had an audience, we had a platform.
Yep.
And that was relentless. And I think he did 52 episodes until I think things just started happening for him and he couldn't keep up with it anymore. And that was, you look back at it now and the quality is not amazing, but the idea is amazing. And the fact that he was playing all these characters and we were getting other people involved, and we got the guy from MySpace involved in an episode, and people were hitting us up saying, I want to be involved. How do I get on an episode? Because they could see other people getting involved, and it just snowballed. So that,
and he's a star now, isn't he?
He's an absolute star. Yeah, he's an absolute star. Moved out of London, very like non-stop, has businesses, multiple businesses, and a lot going on. Lockdowns probably hit us a bit hard with him. He has got events planned and still DJing at clubs. He had a residency in Dubai.
Wow.
Yeah, I think 2 times a month he was going to Dubai when this thing kicked in. So yeah, he's absolutely huge. And he was at BBC for 10 years. But in terms of how long I've been working with him, since then, so since 2005, I say the end of 2005 is when he came on board. And we changed his name as well, because it was Benny Scars who said, because he was working he had moved from us and he started working as a runner in Island Records.
Right.
And he said, look, he's got to have a double barrel name. He's got to have, like, Sloth's not good enough. Look, I'm telling you, it's all about double barrel names. So he was like, what about Charlie Sloth? And we was like, we'll ask him. And he liked it. And so he's been Charlie Sloth since then. And he's just grown and grown and grown. And 10 years at BBC before he left.
What was he doing at the BBC? What was his show?
He had a Saturday night rap show, and he also had the drive home show on One Extra, I think it was.
That's
so
awesome.
BBC Radio 1 and One Extra on Saturdays as a rap show, weekly, and also the weekdays, kind of Monday to Thursday, I think it was.
And so what's his show now on Apple Music?
It's not even about the show on Apple Music, because I don't think, like, he's got, it's not a radio show per se, but it fits into their kind of radio category. And it goes out every Wednesday, and it's a 2-3 hour rap show again, but it's more about the platform, and we do the Fire in the Booths there, which is his big format.
Right.
And we're planning other formats, and again, it's his growth on YouTube. I think he's on like 600,000 subs on YouTube, and subs isn't even a big deal anymore, but it is a good gauge. Like,
absolutely. These are people that want to know more from him, are thirsty from him, so that's brilliant.
I mean, I think they're more thirsty for the music than him specifically, but yeah, right. It's a mix of things. And the thing with Charlie is we had 2 rap records that he was ready to push out before the whole DJ thing happened, because BBC were big fans of his show, being Charlie Sloth, and we used to hear from DJ friends and friends who worked at BBC that every Monday they used to gather around at lunchtime and watch his episode on World Star Hip Hop. And then soon after that is when I think DJ Semtex was away for a few weeks, so they brought Charlie and Wretch in to cover his show.
Right.
And they offered Charlie, after that, and Wretch a full-time show, like the 2:00 in the morning show. And Wretch was like, I'm not taking it. I'm a rapper. I can't kind of blur the lines and be a DJ. And he made absolutely the right decision, because he's a phenomenal artist, and he's gone on to grow big. And Charlie was saying the same thing, and we were like, what are you thinking? Like, you're crazy. You're not on the level of, like, Wretch has already released records. He's already moving. You should go in there for a year. Like, that's the plan. Go in there for a year, get the links, get all the DJs friendly with you. And also he had kids, like Charlie had kids. at that point. So to put all your efforts into, you know, freelance editing and trying to balance that with a music career, compared to going in and getting a job at BBC, where these are the DJs who wouldn't even reply to you. Now you've got an inroad. So I think we convinced him to take that job, and I guess a year kind of turned into 10 years.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and now, I think when he went to BBC, we stepped back a little bit because he had a whole new team around him at BBC. There wasn't much room, but now he's at Apple. It's different. They don't have the same kind of restrictions on what he can do.
I've heard that. I've heard the Apple Music framework is very open to you being creative, which is so important, especially when you're producing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and also they're not a government body, so I mean they're not a government company, so that they can, we can do brand deals. Yeah. Basically, we can get brands involved, and we can find other ways to, reach new heights. Whereas with BBC, you're kind of limited.
Yeah.
Really limited by what you can do. It's just kind of what they say goes.
Absolutely.
It's not a bad thing. I think he did some great things at BBC, but he couldn't put on his own festivals and stuff like he does now.
Right, I see.
So now he's grown much more as a brand, and it's happened really fast over the last year.
That's amazing.
Again, we manage his YouTube completely. We've got 3 or 4 formats we're developing, and hopefully, when this craziness is over, we'll be back.
How has COVID affected your business?
I think it's productions. It's just stopped a lot of things, but it's created new. It's shifted it. I think when it first started happening, I was really. It was a mix between anxiety and excitement.
Right.
If this is going to be, I thought we were going to be locked down till the end of the year. The way you were kind of looking at what else is going on, so I was saying, guys, we got to get creative. But it's just difficult because everyone is behaving differently, right? You need everyone to be on the same kind of page. Like Charlie straight away went with an Instagram live format where he'd have rappers now kind of every night. He'd go on Instagram and he'd let rappers come on and rap in front of, try and gain a new audience, and he would either buzz them off or let them finish. And that was a good little format and created a little bit of a buzz, but it's too hard for him to every night do that. I think he realized he's not just, he's got kids. He's can't just every night do that. And at the same time, he still wants to be creative. So he's been writing.
Right.
He's a big writer. He's writing, movies, stories. So he couldn't keep up with it. But I think it's just affected us. It's hard to say because we've just been trying to get on. So we had a backlog of stuff we had shot for Charlie. So we just changed the Fire in the Booth cycle to every 2 weeks rather than every week. But that's going to run out in a few weeks. So we've been looking at other ways we can get by, but we film at Apple, and that's the deal with Apple. We can't suddenly go and film Fire in the Booth somewhere else.
I see what you mean.
So even though this week or last week, there was a lift on production in terms of you can now film content. You have to follow the guidelines.
Yeah.
Like someone has to do their own makeup, for example. No makeup artists are allowed.
Right, I see.
So there are a number of little rules on how you have to behave. Which is funny because we did something for YouTube Originals with Yanni, where they did a NHS fundraiser live stream for 4 hours. It was called Stream With Me, and they had 10 minutes with Yan, and we had to break eggs over his head or something. So we had to go to his office and help them, kind of give them access to come and set up. So they had 2 guys come in who were wearing hazmat suits.
Wow.
Yeah, and they had to come in and they had to wipe down surfaces and stuff and wipe down when they left, and they would set up the cameras and were there for the live stream, but they had to sit outside in a van. It's a very, very bizarre scenario, but I think you just the sooner you accept it, the sooner you can deal with it. And
yeah. I'm totally with you on that. Totally with you on that. There's so many people that in the face of adversity just crumble, and you need to just
deny it.
Yeah, you need to accept the scenario and just look at how to overcome the challenge.
I think I take it on a worst case. So I don't know if I'm just tuned differently, but for me it was like, this is going to be till the end of the year. What can we do?
Yeah.
We're going to be locked down, and I was wrong because it looks like, but I might be right because it might kick off that second wave and we may well be back in a full strict lockdown. I thought Army was going to come out straight away. But yeah, I think me looking at it like, okay, this is going to be 6 months. What do we do to survive? Like, what are we doing creatively? And because not just financially survive, but mentally survive and creatively survive. Because I was doing memes at one point. I was, I think my brother was ill. He thought he had it.
Gosh.
Yeah, Charlie was frustrated. Yanni was not leaving home. So I was resorted to, I think, a week of just trying to do memes as a creative outlet. Yeah, but financially, we've tried to look at ways to keep creating.
Yeah.
For all the talents we work with, like, some talents are doing all right. It's hard for Yanni because the car market's taken a big hit. There's no one, no one's going to drop their car off to be wrapped at a time like this.
Absolutely.
Even if he could be open. But that'll come back because I think he's lucky where his clients are high end. It's not going to affect them financially. It's not going to affect footballers that badly financially, where if they wanted their car wrapped, they're suddenly not going to be able to get their car wrapped.
Yeah, crazy times. Well, mate, I'm pretty sure things will start to change for the better. I've seen it change, which is...
Well, what do you mean change? What do you mean?
I think we will start to resume productions. We're running out of content. People will start creating content. It's just the way we create it is going to be different. You mentioned the guidelines, the production guidelines that we have to follow. But there's other things as well. It's about mentality and, efficiency of time. Like I've been on sets where people just wasting time and making stupid decisions. I feel this is going to make people be a bit more consolidated with their decisions, I hope. And I hope there's a positivity and a bit more of a kind of, I don't want to say respect, but appreciation of everyone involved, because it's hard, especially when you could be in danger.
I think it'll fade though, and but I agree with you. Like, I think it should wake up a lot of people and be more efficient.
Yeah, it won't be the same.
And be more on point, but I think that will probably fade. I think a lot of people who adopt that mentality will probably eventually, just human nature, revert to default. And I mean, it is what it is, and I'm not sure. Like, I'm not sure that, because none of us know what this thing is. So
yeah,
we're just trying to, not be the selfish ones who think we're above it.
Exactly.
Do what we want to do because what we personally think. I think you just have to go with the mass, and we know that YouTube and Facebook and all of those guys are taking their orders, and Apple pretty much probably taking their orders from government as well.
Yeah.
So we're tied by what they tell us and do. Like, I know there's a run of content being removed from all of those, well, YouTube and Facebook.
Yeah, I heard.
So anything you touch kind of COVID-19 or any of those kind of keywords, they're going to have a quick look at your content. No longer do they care about swearing or other, other things on videos. They now care about, if you mention COVID-19, like, what's your agenda?
I think we just have to kind of think positive and just count our blessings. I'm hopeful that we're going to come out of this, but I do believe things will be different. Couple of tangent questions. I mean, we're coming to the end of the podcast, but I just wanted to throw this one at you because this is quite an important one to me. And I've always wondered this, and I think you have told me about this, but let me ask you anyway. What's your ethnicity?
I'm fully Armenian.
Yes, you told me.
Kim Kardashian is the normal response. Which is kind of tiring, but yeah. I'm the same as Kim Kardashian, or Kim's half.
Okay.
Because you're talking about, like, growing up at school, no one knew what it was. So that's the best thing about Kim Kardashian for us, is that at least people kind of know Armenia is a country, rather than a metal, because people used to think I'd say aluminium.
Well, I was a big System of a Down fan.
So, nice. Yes.
They're and I, still am.
He's a friend of ours.
Oh, okay. I know. Serge. He's a good lad. I've met him a few times. I met George, who's Serge's manager. Times, and we were actually. we were just talking about it during I think it was the 100-year anniversary of highlighting the genocide that happened in World War I. There was talks of us doing a hologram together. They wanted to beam. Wow. I think they wanted to film them in somewhere and beam them into somewhere else. I think it might have been between Turkey and I'm not sure where it was, but it didn't happen in the end, which is a shame. But I know Armenia very well. The story of the last sort of 100 and something years of the persecution that they've been through. So that's interesting.
I could have put that into the story. Actually, we did an Armenian album, which we don't really talk about. We made an Armenian music album, and we knew Serge before that, or Harry had met Serge in Spain before System of a Down had even started. And they were both kind of busking. They were both doing the music thing in Spain.
No way.
Yeah. And we did an album and we sold globally with that. But that was a time where copying was really big. So, we went around, we toured.
What sort of music was it? Was it hip hop?
A little bit of everything. You can't really find much on it online now, because that was before. Like, that was talking about 97, 98 maybe.
Wow. Okay. Crazy.
Yeah. But my brother won't be happy I'm talking about it. Tried to bury that. We went to this prestigious Armenian Music Awards in Glendale, where they kind of pick you up in a I don't know, what was it? Anyway, they pick you up why's my mind gone blank? The point is, the car that they pick you up in, they drive like one block and drop you off. So it's totally for show. And I was like, what? Why are we even getting in this? We could just walk there. It's down the road from our hotel. But no, it's all for show. And it was amazing. But for us, it was like a good kind of test ground. We thought we'll just do something that we can kind of get out there and get some experience where no one will kind of hear about it, really.
Yeah, well, the Armenian community is a very beautiful community. Well, actually, one of my first girlfriends.
I don't believe that.
Okay, all right.
In what context do you? I thought you were going to talk like as people, like, or are you talking looks wise?
No, well, that as well. No, I was just talking about like the history and the heritage. It's just a very interesting, beautiful music, beautiful food. Like, it's wonderful culture.
Yeah, I think it's the same with. I'd like to think it's the same with most, if not every, culture. But we have some toe rags.
Well, everyone does.
Yeah, and we have some nice people. But so I think it's the same as everything. Like, I know when we were in LA, that it was, all like in Glendale, the police are Armenian, the crooks are Armenian. So there's it's like both, they cover both sides. So a lot of bad stuff happens and a lot of good stuff happens. I think it's the same with every nationality and culture.
Absolutely.
Because cool. that completely blindsided me.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
That's a great one.
As a journalist, that's my job. Just we're coming to the end of the podcast. If people want to get in contact with you, what's the best way to get in contact with you?
I'm Ara the Coach everywhere. So Ara the Coach, ARA the Coach. Instagram, my email is arathecoach@gmail.com. Or you can go to the soincredible.tv website to see a little bit of what we do. Definitely needs updating. That's me. We could have talked about how I got that name.
Well, dude, I need to get you on another podcast. Obviously, you know, this is for Tiger Heart Chat. So those of you listening, make sure you share the hashtag Tiger Heart Chats, all one word. But I also run an entertainment podcast, which is Sanj Surati Talks, and I'd love to get you on that as well. There's so much in your mind there that I'd love to kind of give a platform for. I'm sure everyone that's been listening to this has got a lot of value from this. I really appreciate this, Ara. Thank you so much.
Cool.
No, but Ara, thank you so much. Those of you guys that are listening, really, really, really appreciate all of your support. Hope you guys are staying safe over the COVID-19 lockdown. You got any questions, send us a message. But until next time, be good.